those human characteristics, very important to know what type of character you are so that you know your strengths, but you also got to learn to identify how your strengths can be worked against you, First thing I want to point out when it comes to those human characteristics is we're human beings, we're not actually animals, so knowing how to separate the difference uh, will really assist you in getting you more focused on who and what you are, That alpha, that bravo, and there's a few other ones, but still we'll just stick with the alpha and bravo ones, and I'll have to break it down into 3 different areas, and the last video I do will be probably describing your stew a little bit more better to yourself, But that alpha 18, I've got a lot of love for these fellas, especially when they're in line with their true characteristics, and it's just because their true power is their caring for their people, there's nothing that could ever stand in between the heart that they have for their people, just because it's unshakering, Like these fellas do not budge. They couldn't do it even if they fucking tried, But because they have so much heart for their people, if they're not being in that role as an alpha, then very easily they can find themselves depressed massively too. Just because their power is their people. The thing is, when your power is combined with your people, if your people feel down, or you feel like fucking wretched, amen. And the problem is you probably don't know how to fix some certain situations, just because that's how life is. It can be tough at times. But for an alpha, they really not really focusing on themselves because they're actually a selfless person. But if they see their family in need, or their people in need, or anything that comes down to do with pretty much their family ones really, and the people that they care for, the alarm bells start going off in their head. They may not know what to do either, but they know they have to react. And that's where it starts getting a little bit confused for the bros. But when you're a person who has a deep heart for your people, the reason I have a lot of love for these bros, just because they would not flinch for a fucking second when it comes to protecting their people, That's why I'm proud to be a part of them. Because these people, even if they don't know us too, it's just in their fucking instinct that they've got old Stu's back. And I'm very thankful for that, But because we confuse those characteristics from animal to human, and some motherfuckers don't even know the fucking difference, very easily you can start labeling an alpha as that go-to guy, that up there guy, that type of person that's like Superman type of ones, And definitely they can become that, but it's actually not really their state that they want to live by, See, if they didn't get to do anything and they were able to witness all their whānau, their people just being happy, like that would cheer them up on a daily. The energy they will get from that will be so uplifting, and that's where you see these people, always rising to that occasion. And they are very impressive. I'm impressed by them. But it's understanding that, but especially if you are an alpha, amen, you must concentrate on that wow that you have. Okay? Everything else will just fall into place. That's why you fellas always get the mean life in the end. Just because what you are after is more that heart, that bond, that kotaitanga ones. And sometimes when you're not seeing that, and sometimes it just be in the sadness of your people. And you probably find when being an alpha, if you see someone who's sad and they're part of your people, like you need to fucking investigate that, because that might be an issue that you might have to deal with. And being their character, that you're not afraid to deal with it. And it's not always because you're the strongest either, man. It's just because when you've got the power of the people behind you, that's what allows you to rise to that next occasion. And that's pretty much what makes you a fearless motherfucker, bro? Yeah, you know it, But I always find a lot of our alphas find themselves in that dark place, because they emotionally bound themselves to their duty, which is actually pretty important, but it also is that fine fucking line, amen, that in some sense your people have the power to pick you up, but they also have the power to drop you with ease as well. And it's only because when they're not happy, you're definitely not fucking happy. When they're on cloud nine, you're walking around with your head held high, okay? Probably you might know you're an alpha, and you're probably wondering, oh man, how come life's not, lining up for me? And it'll be because of that area. I would recommend advancing your characteristics by adding that discipline on, and it just comes down to comprehending who you are. When you know you have the power to lift the fucking earth, there's nothing that can stop you. But it's about knowing why you do it. Sometimes it's not really a characteristic of the alpha, but when you're not on your path, you start thinking other things, and then you start displaying other attributes, just to identify that you are the alpha, because it's not a say, it's more like you need to show people how much you do care. And I always find sometimes, bros, fuck you cunts can be overwhelming, man. Personally for myself, I love you guys, but fucking because you can be overbearing, it's only because you got a lot of heart for Stu. You just want to make sure Stu's okay. Like, damn fucking means something to you. But I guess when you're a person like old Stu, I'm not here in this world to be have you held my hand, amen. I appreciate the money you give us. But, yeah, Stu can stand on his own 2 feet, And for myself, I find that quite overbearing. Sometimes I find myself telling the bros, hey, bro, just fuck off, give me some fucking space, man. And, yeah, definitely, it could be a bit overbearing. That's all. But I know you don't mean it. It's only because you do have that kind, caring heart. And I want you to know you're the type of person that not only lifts the fucking earth, but your real power that I really love seeing you guys in is that compassion you have for humanity, man. That's your strength. And very easily you can be tipped up by that, because it is a strength, but it's a fine line to their weakness, You see, there's a bit of a flip side on both sides of that coin that you can find yourself either one on, because you only have those immense powers within you. So when you find yourself on the good side of life, hey man, your head's held high. Like, you're not that person that gives a fuck about resources and all that. You're more about that money of the people one. And that's why I love you a lot, man. Sure, Stu gets a bit nyanny with you guys. Like, give me some fucking space, bro. Like, fuck. Always just overbearing, But nah, she's all good, man. But I hate it when our alphas get labelled wrong, they're not the gorilla of humanity, They're not those people. You're just a fuckwit if you think that's what they are. Dumb cunt, Like I said before, like, they're not an animal, man. That's a human being. So what I'm asking you is when you come across an alpha, have a bit more fucking respect. And not because they're tough motherfuckers. It's because the power in the heart that they hold, They'll always get my respect. Because I know what these bros are like when it comes down to the crunch. Generally, they're standing right there next to Stu. And when I find myself surrounded by alphas, honestly, that's when I believe I can do anything. I just get out of our fucking way, cunt. We've got our people to look after. And now, as you can see, I've brought the bros with me, But we just want to make it a better world, that's all. We just want all that bad to go away. Or otherwise, you'll get the bros that are alphas, they'll just make it go away. So our people can live in peace, amen. And that's why you should really respect, when it comes down to the alphas. Because they're those motherfuckers, when it comes to the crunch, they just run straight into battle. They don't fucking think about it. They ain't got time for that. Because they're those motherfuckers that react. And it's always been an honor serving with these type of people. Because I've always got a lot of love for people that just ain't fucking cowards, amen. You can do a marvelous foundation of building within yourself, but using your characteristics to your advantage. Never allow it to be a disadvantage. And you'll always be on cloud 9, man, because you deserve to hold your head up high just because of the person you are, man. Once you know, still care for you, Nah, I love you, my bros.